Hey guys, good morning, and today I'm going to recap all the Thanksgiving games and things that we learned from each of the teams that played. So first let's talk about the early game in the matchup between the 7-3 Chicago Bears and the Detroit Lions. And in this matchup, Mitchell Trubisky was out, so they started Chase Daniel. And what we learned is that the Bears defense is for real. They really held Matthew Stafford's passing offense, and they made them run the ball, which is it's not the Lions' forte. And they also got key turnovers to close out the game, including a key pick six that put them a touchdown ahead. And in terms of the Lions, I feel like their season is done for this year. I feel like their offense over the past couple of years, it just hasn't been balanced. Matthew Stafford's throwing too many passes, and they're not handing it off much. So defenses and opposing defenses, they now know what to expect when they face the Lions. So it kind of turns them into a one-dimensional team. And as for the Bears, I think that going forward they'll be a formidable playoff opponent. And out of all the teams in the playoff picture in the NFC, I feel like they have the best defense, which can get you far in long playoff runs. Whenever Mitchell Trubisky gets back, I think it's next week, we can see their offense thrive a bit more. I feel like they struggled a bit in this game, but they really relied on their defense, which is not a bad thing because in the end, defense consistency is always a good thing, and it can help with struggling offenses. So you don't need to be the most explosive offense to win games. And they found a way to win a game without Mitchell Trubisky, and that's through their defense. So yeah, overall, impressive win for the Bears, but disappointing for the Lions because time and time again, it seems like there's a disappointment, and Matthew Stafford, former #1 overall pick, he's only been to the playoffs a couple of times. I believe he hasn't won a playoff game yet, so I think now we start to question whether Matthew Stafford is a legitimate starting QB in the National Football League. And my answer is no. I feel like he gets too much, he gets most of his passing yards from garbage time, and that doesn't really contribute to his team's chances to win. So, yeah. Overall, fun game to watch, but like I said, impressive for the Bears in that they won a game without their starting quarterback. Disappointing for the Lions that they couldn't capitalize on this chance, and more likely than not, they're probably not going to the playoffs. And I wonder to see if they're going to use their lottery pick this upcoming year to choose a quarterback and address that need, and start thinking about Matthew Stafford's future in Detroit. So for the second matchup for today, there was a divisional rivalry again between the Washington Redskins and the Cowboys. Coming into the matchup, the Redskins were in the division lead, and the Cowboys were a step behind, but basically the winner of this game would retain sole possession of first place in the division. However, last week, Alex Smith suffered that gruesome leg injury, so for today, or for last night, Colt McCoy held the starting role. So the game went as planned. It was fairly low scoring game at halftime, and it was 10-7. Then Washington got a quick score, so they took the lead at 13-10. After that, the Cowboys went on a full-on explosive run that featured 2 long touchdown passes to Amari Cooper. So what I took away from this game, the Redskins offense just needs to get better if they want a chance at the playoffs. So Colt McCoy, he made some okay throws, some pretty good throws, but he had too many interceptions at three. So That just can't happen every single game if they want a chance to win and make the playoffs. For the Cowboys, their offense, I feel like it was stagnant in the beginning. How it usually is, they don't really have big explosive chunk plays, but then they improved upon that in the second half with the 2 big Amari Cooper touchdowns. I feel like Amari Cooper was a great addition to them at the deadline. It gave them that #1 receiving option that they didn't have previously. And as for the defenses, I think the Redskins defense really showed up in the first half, but in the second half, they couldn't really do much because the offense was turning the ball over and they had it for little short periods of time. So inevitably the defense was going to be tired because the Dallas Cowboys offense just worked them down, and after working them down, they just threw big chunk plays to Amari Cooper. And as for the Dallas Cowboys defense, I feel like they're 100% legit now. They really stopped the Redskins throughout the game. Third down was their issue, and they really solved that, and they got key turnovers, which they haven't been doing all season. So getting 3 interceptions on Colt McCoy, that was huge, and they limited the run game from Adrian Peterson, so they made the Washington Redskins one-dimensional. If they can keep on doing that, then the Cowboys can go far, or at least win a playoff game. Towards the end of the season, I feel like it'll be really interesting on who takes this division. I mean, it seems every year that this division goes down to the wire, and this year is no different. This upcoming week, there's the Philadelphia Eagles versus the New York Giants. That's going to be a good game. If the Giants pull that game off, then hey, like, they're back in the race. So like, everyone in this division is alive, including the Giants. And as of now, I don't know which team is going to step up to the plate. It could be the Cowboys, like we saw them play on Thanksgiving, or it could be the Redskins. They could get it back together. They could win through their defense and probably solve some of Colt McCoy's mistakes. Then you have the Eagles, the reigning Super Bowl champions. I mean, you can't count them out. And then lastly, the Giants, and they're clearly motivated to win out, and if they do, they have a chance to win the division. So overall, that's my big takeaway from this game, is that the NFC East is completely wide open, and right now the Cowboys are in first place, so it'll be interesting to see the ending. Now on to the third game. So for the last game on Thanksgiving Day, we had the New Orleans Saints versus the Atlanta Falcons, yet again another divisional rivalry. And here, it was just a showcase, I feel like, for the Saints and what they were capable of. I feel like their offense didn't play that well, but their defense really stepped up to the plate because all season long, Atlanta has preached on finishing, and it's what they couldn't do all season. And this game, they just couldn't finish their drives because it seemed like they would march down the field, and then the Saints would come up with the big takeaway to really halt that momentum. I feel like if Atlanta finished those drives, this would have been a really different game because I didn't think the Saints offense particularly played to their full potential, but their defense really did show out, and if they can get their defense right, I don't think anyone can contend with the Saints offense as long as they're playing up to their standard, including the most explosive of offenses, which include the Falcons. So holding the Falcons to only 17 points, that's an accomplishment, but I feel like not every game can we get turnovers at the goal line twice, so that really helped us throughout the game and really let us set the tone and let us dominate the entire game, not really letting Atlanta have a chance at coming back or even letting themselves into the game. So overall, looking at the big picture, I feel like the Saints solidified their they really solidified their image as the #1 team, the #1 dog in the NFL. With this win, it showed that they didn't only have to beat teams with their offense, they can also beat teams with their defense. And as for the Falcons, it has been a rough year, and this this game kind of showed all their season in a nutshell. So everywhere from finishing drives to scoring points and to defending opposing offenses. I feel like Atlanta couldn't really get into a rhythm this season, but next season, after Calvin Ridley has another year under his belt, and their defense has a bunch of injuries, so after their defense gets back, I feel like they'll be a big contender next year. But as for this year, I feel like their season's over. I feel like the Panthers are well engraved in that second place spot in the NFC South, so it'll be tough for Atlanta to make the playoffs. And in order for that to happen, they would have to win out and need some help. So highly unlikely, but good effort. I feel like Matt Ryan did make a couple mistakes, and those are mistakes you can't have if you want to make it to the playoffs or be a competitive team in the NFL. Alright guys, I think that sums up the video. I'd like to thank all the viewers and new subscribers. I'll still be uploading consistently on sports content ranging from football to basketball or maybe even college sports. As again, thank you. Have a good Thanksgiving, have a good weekend off, and like and subscribe. And as always, have a good day.